Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about the magic of setting impossible goals, because I know for most of my childhood and some of my adulthood as well, I've been told to set SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym that you might know, and it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound goals. So your goals are supposed to have all of these aspects. But I actually think this is a rubbish way to set goals, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's this fantastic Will Smith quote that I heard the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do a video on this. And he says, being realistic is the most common path to mediocrity. And I think that is so true. I wouldn't even just say it's the most common. I would say that it's the fastest way to hit mediocrity. If you want to have realistic goals, you're going to get realistic levels of success. If you want impossible levels of success, you need to set impossible goals. And there's another reason why. This isn't just like, well, set a bigger goal to get a bigger reward. The idea behind this and why I'm so ridiculously passionate about impossible goals is this. When we set a goal that is too small, our life isn't going to change that much by getting it. And therefore, we lose motivation. When you set a massive, insane, impossible, crazy goal, the result of getting that goal will change your life so much that you're willing to do anything for it. And you have to be in that energy of, I am willing to do anything to achieve my goals in order to achieve a big goal or even a small goal. Because let me tell you, this is why I was able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but I have never been able to get myself to go to the gym at all. Like 3 times a week, 1 time a week at all. I just cannot get myself into the habit because it doesn't have a big payoff reward. But I set myself a goal to do 100 push-ups, and that got me to the gym. The actual just setting of a small goal or a habit, it's really demotivating because, yeah, you might feel it pumped up for the first week. But then after that, you totally lose the motivation because your life isn't really going to change that much if you do it. Whether you do it or you don't do it. It's kind of like, well, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. Doesn't really matter. Why would you? Why would you even bother trying to hit a goal that isn't going to change your life that much? It's just hitting a goal for hitting the goal's sake. That's nothing interesting. This is why SMART goals don't work. Yes, they can be specific. Yes, they can be attainable and realistic and time-bound and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't feel excited about it, you will not do it. And that's what happens when we set realistic, boring goals. And people will argue with me. They will say, if you set a really, really big goal, it's too much for your brain to handle. But I'm like, no, it's not. Our brains like big, crazy things. We want to be pushed. We love that feeling. We don't get overwhelmed and paralyzed. We only get overwhelmed and paralyzed when we're not taking action, and that is a separate issue. The actual setting of the goal is so important that we set it big enough to make us excited. If we don't, it's just totally disappointing when we reach the goal and it's like, oh, well, what was that for? I just put all this work in to go to the gym 3 times a week and I feel the same. What's the deal with that? But if I climb Kilimanjaro, doing it gives me some kind of actual reward. Like now I've climbed Kilimanjaro, totally worth it, totally worth the grueling hours that I trained for that. I trained every single day for months to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And then when I was up there and I wanted to turn around, I didn't. I was so close to the top. I was 600 meters from the top, and it's 6,000 meters, this thing. I was so close to the top and I wanted to turn around and I didn't because it's such a big goal. Whereas if I was going to the gym 3 times a week and I just went 2 times a week this week and I couldn't really be bothered going the 3rd time, I'd probably just be like, well, I can't really be bothered because the payoff isn't big enough. You've got to do something where the payoff is so exciting and so massive to you that you would do anything, literally anything to hit your goal. That's the kind of goal you want to set. And then you can ask yourself, okay, well, now that I am willing to do anything, what am I going to do? Now it doesn't matter. Let's say you've got $1 million on the line. Oh my gosh, you'd be happy to go knocking door to door for $1 million. The payoff is worth it. You would be happy to go and ask strangers on the street to help you. You'd be happy to cold call people. You'd be happy to do whatever it takes because there's $1 million on the line. Think about it. You are willing to up your game when there's something big going on, but you're not willing to do that if it's realistic and boring and tiring and stupid. So please, I'm begging you, set a big impossible goal for yourself. You will thank yourself later. So how do you actually set a big, impossible, crazy goal? What should you do? How do you know whether it's big enough? Let me tell you, we're going to do it now. We're going to set an impossible goal for you. So you have to think about what would be the biggest, most impossible dream that you could have for yourself. Seriously, I want you to think about that. Like the most insane, huge, impossible, crazy dream. And then think, now that I have already achieved that, what would I want? And then set that as your goal. So think about Oprah, think about Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, all of these people who've achieved crazy things. What would be their goals now? What do you think they want now? Set that as your goal. Imagine, and amplify your goal to the absolute max and think about what could you create? Because now that that's your goal, just think about what you'd be willing to do to create that. Your life would change so much if you had this. Now what are you willing to do? If I say it here, it's right here. I'll give it to you. What would you be willing to do? Anything, right? Okay, so I love reading your comments every time you leave me and you tell me what you learned from the video. So please drop below what is going to be your impossible goal that you're going to set, and throw away all the realistic ones. Tell me the real crazy impossible goal. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.